work, like doing the work. I always talk about like being in love with the work and how lucky I think I am that I just fell in love with doing the work right from the get-go. And I've never looked back, and I can just get lost. It's like that thing of like, how do you know what you're passionate about, right? Like, what is your passion? What is your thing? And I think it's the thing where you lose track of time. And I've always thought that about music, because I can really lose like a day and be like, oh shit, it was 9 a.m. just a minute ago, and now it's 11 p.m. And I've been doing this thing like all day. I remember that very vividly as a kid, being able to spend, coming down in the morning, having a little bit of breakfast in my PJs, and just sitting down, initially with the classical guitar when I was younger, 10, 11 years old, and just playing all day, and having to be reminded to eat lunch and dinner, and actually not getting out of the PJs most of the day, if at all, before I had to go back to bed again. And that whole, people talk about the 10,000 hours, and in music circles, people talk about, hey, did you ever really practice 10 or 12 hours? Yes, absolutely, a day. Yes, I did. Hundreds of days, if not thousands. So, and that whole 10,000 hours thing, that's not the goal. That's not the upper limit of what it takes to become proficient at something. That's like the basic requirement of just cracking the door and having a look inside the room. 10,000 hours, you're not walking across the threshold as far as I'm concerned. 10,000 hours is, yeah, great. What about the next 30,000 hours you're going to put into it? And how do you feel about that? And does that bring you joy? And are you motivated to do it? And is that honestly what you want to do? Or is that just something you read about or you saw in a YouTube video? Very interesting to think back to, 30 something years ago to when I first started playing music, and how that has never gone away. So that's the metric of like, is it working? Is it my goal? Is it my passion? Am I on it? I constantly sort of check back in with that. And the common thread is that I can still, at this, with all of these other things going on, wife, kid, dog, cat, house, touring, sideman, studio, projects, podcast, with all of this other stuff going on, running 4 or 5 different businesses and doing like, just really kind of stretched a little bit too thin, if I'm honest. I can still totally get lost in the process of making and playing music and lose track of time. And maybe happiness, because I get a great amount of joy from that. And I think maybe the older I get, the more I think about like what is happening. We are so far off 12 keys here, by the way. But it is all kind of part of the process when it comes down to, do I have the will? How do I have the willpower to do this every day still? And I'm talking to you, whoever's listening out there, about something kind of very fundamental and pretty basic on some level. But the fact that it still brings me so much happiness, and as a result of the work, I'm afforded to operate on a level that gives me access to things that I would otherwise miss out on if I wasn't doing that work every day. So I guess it is really related. And back to the thing about like what is happiness, and to me it's like enjoying the time I have, like enjoying the passing of time, and for that not to be arduous or boring or, like enjoying the process. I think that's been the like sort of underlying theme of my entire professional life. Personal life, there are some issues there, not gonna lie. Thankfully, working on them and have been for some time. So hopefully that kind of comes up to par with the career stuff. And of course, they're all intertwined, and one affects the other in both directions. So it's a huge balancing act. But the overarching sort of all-encompassing feeling is that I'm very happy with like enjoying like the passage of time, the passing of time, which is I'm very grateful for.